Hey there, sweet friends. I hope you are all well. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new. It's day 8 of our 13 Days of Halloween tutorial series. If you're just joining in, you can find the link to the first 7 days at the top of the description so you can get caught up. And remember to listen throughout the video for the question of the day. For today's project, we are going to create a super fun and easy to make pocket scrapbook with bags that are even better than the ones that you find at the Dollar Tree. So we have inserts here, we have pockets, we have folded inserts on the side, and each of these layers is going to give you loads of room for your pictures and journaling, and this is a great way to document your holiday memories. So if that sounds good to you, then stick with me and we'll make it together. I'm going to be working today with these bags. Now, I picked these up from Meijer, which I think is a Midwest chain store, but if you have a comparable Walmart or Target or any other kind of grocery store that has an American Greetings section, and so this would be where the cards are located, I'm sure you can find these. Now, how this is better than the Dollar Tree bags is this was only 79 cents. So per bag, it was a better value. They only had 2 different patterns when I looked, and they only had one of this one. And so this one would have been my favorite, but we're going to use this one for a sample today, and then we'll switch to the other pattern that we're going to use for our project. I'm going to bring this bag to my scoreboard, and I'm turning it so the end of the bag will be toward the left-hand side, and then I want to score this at 2.5, and that's what I determined the depth of my pocket should be. It's a little hard to score on this many layers and get it straight, so I'm just going to start by putting a ruler alongside, and that way I can use that as a guide and I don't get anything crooked. And because this is many layers, it'll just take a couple of passes to get that a good enough crease so you know where your score line is for folding. And so just flip that over, you see, and then flip that up right along your score line. Now, the first thing I want to do is remove some of this bulk in here because that is going to create a problem. Let's just cut all of that out. You take your time and do a more careful job. So I'm folding that up on my score line there at 2.5 inches. Then I'm going to bring this to my guillotine cutter and cut it to be 5 1/4. And so the original size of this bag was 10 1/3 by 5 1/4, and I really want to make it square. So 5 1/4 high by 5 1/4 wide. Here's the pattern that we're going to be working with for our finished project. And as you can see, cutting that creates a little bit of a lump here, and I want my items, the inserts, to slide in easily, so I'm going to cover that with a little piece of my scrap cardstock. And so this is going to measure 5 1/8 by 2 3/8. It doesn't have to be perfect, but keep in mind the bag is a little bit glossy, so you're going to need to have your 2 glue combo throughout, and this is just going to cover up those lumpy bits, and you won't even see this. This will be inside the pocket. Now I have 3 of these total, and then I have 1 final bag left over. I am only going to bring this to my cutter and cut that down to be exactly 10. And I'm not going to worry about this because I'm going to incorporate that into the front cover. So the first thing I want to do is begin to attach these pockets to the layer that will be behind it. And that is going to be how we connect all these pieces. So I'm thinking about it in a stack this way, where I'm keeping all of the pockets toward the back. And then I'll open that up, you see, and I'll add my glue to the top, the side, and the bottom, and that will leave this as a pocket. So, and keep it in from the very edge so that it doesn't squeeze out. Line these up. We don't have our 2 glue combo here, so once you get this stack glued, you'll want to just set a book on it or give it some pressure while that glue sets up. Here is the next pocket. The last pocket, you're going to add your adhesive. And then I'm just going to bring in what will be that outside cover and line it up here so everything will line up perfectly along that edge. And now here's where you want to bring in a book or something heavy and apply enough pressure here and enough time for that glue to set up. We can continue to work along, and then we'll rejoin this base when we get to that. I've created a few folded inserts, and these are going to go into the ends of the bag, and that helps to give it a little bit more bulk and structure, and it helps us to increase the amount of space we have for finishing. Now, because I want to use those bags along with just my scrap paper, this is 2 sheets of plaid paper that I found in my stash that are the same. It only took 2 sheets for all of the finished surfaces that I'm showing here. And then I'm also going to use those to cover the front of the pocket. So the folded inserts here are going to be 5 high by 8 wide, and the pattern paper is 4 7/8 by 3 7/8. I finished the front and the inside with the pattern, and then I added that other cardstock to the back, and that will be for adding journaling to or using as an additional photo mat. For the tags inside, I'm going to use my Festive Ghost printable. I did print the entire sheet. That would be 9 images, and then I'm going to use 1 image as a focal point on the cover. That leaves me with 8, and so I'll put 3 in 2 of the pockets inside, and 1 of them will get 2. I put that on a cardstock border, and then I also put the other cardstock on the back, so plenty of room to capture all the memories that go with your pictures. So here is that base back, and I mentioned that I want to finish this cover with more of that pattern paper, and so I have these cut to be 5 1/8 high by 4 wide for the cardstock, and 5 high and 3 7/8 wide for the pattern paper. And remember, we do need to use that 2 glues. I'm going to center it toward the outside. I don't want to cover the very middle of the album where it will fold over the front, so that I will be able to close that up, you see here, just like that. So we have 1 more for this side as well. I think this is a really fun large dot geometric for our cover. And so I chose a different scale for the plaid, and that way these patterns don't look too busy when they are together. So here we go, is our front cover. We have our first set of pages, and remember I said that I wanted to cover that pocket, so we've got our cardstock to be 5 high by 2 1/4 wide, and the pattern paper is 4 7/8 by 2 1/8. And that is just going to break up a little bit of that dot pattern. I believe if you looked at any time of year, the season in the greeting card section would have some bags that are similar to this. So you could probably make this for just about any occasion or holiday. And you would just switch out the images that you're using. And you could probably even find some in your stash. If you didn't want to print them, you could have some leftover cut aparts from a collection. Here's our last set of pages, and here's the last front for our pocket. And remember, we have our folded inserts, so I want to put them into the top of this bag here And the edge of this is going to make this very nice and sturdy here on the end. And then you can just open that up and pull it out to add your pictures and your journaling. So let's add one for this side as well. You could easily mix and match all these patterns if you're just getting through your stash. And so here is the last one. Now you can see how nice and bulky that has gotten. Remember, we're going to use those images as our inserts. So let's pick 3 for this front pocket, 2 for the middle one, and then 3 for the back page. Some trim here that I want to wrap around. So I'll just tack that into place. And now it's time for the question of the day. If you could serve a special meal on Halloween, what would it be? So here in the Midwest, we all get a craving for chili when the weather starts to turn cooler. And so we always enjoy a nice bowl of chili. It's so cozy and comforting. Let me know in the comments, what is your choice for a special meal for the holiday? Continuing to work along here, I have a rectangle doily this time, and it is cut from the same die set I used for that banner that we created 2 days ago. And so this is just going to act as a nice border for that image. If you're interested in this printable, I will link it in the description below. And I think this is a great way to get through some scraps and bags and have images that coordinate. So I've also created a little flower arrangement here, and that's going to go into the left-hand corner. I've added some die cut leaves, some netting, and loopy twine bows. I'm going to add this with my hot glue. Set that right to the corner. I've got a couple little charms here, and I am going to attach them as I do with a little bit of string set into hot glue. Then cover those cut strings with a button. Just tie this little folio up. And of course, our final detail is going to be these sequins. So that's going to be it for day 8. And I sure do hope that you are enjoying these tutorials. If you are, make sure you come back tomorrow for day 9. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe. You can find links in the description below. And as always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.